Welcome to the Warframe Open Encyclopedia, where today we're checking out the Ambassador. Now, if you want to get your hands on the Ambassador, you're gonna have to do quite a bit of railjack because all of its parts are a rotation C reward from railjack survival missions. But it's not just that, the parts are scattered across different Proximas as well. If you want to get the blueprint, you're gonna have to do the survival in Veil Proxima. Then if you want to get the barrel, you're gonna have to do the survival in Venus Proxima. If you want to get the stock, you're gonna have to do survival in the Neptune Proxima. And finally, if you want to get the receiver, you're gonna have to do survival in the Pluto Proxima. And from what I hear, the drop rates aren't great. The Ambassador is a Mastery Rank 10 primary rifle that does pure electricity damage, and it has two fire modes. The primary mode is kind of like a full auto rapid fire rifle that has mediocre crit, above average crit multiplier, and pretty good status chance. And the secondary or charge mode does a buttload of electricity damage up front, and then there is a 6-meter explosion with 50% fall off that does even more electricity damage. And here the crit is about the same and the status is a little bit higher. The way the fire modes work is a little bit different to a lot of other weapons, because when you press the secondary fire, the weapon essentially reloads and switches into the second fire mode. And this actually reloads the weapon, which is kind of cool. Now, as I've said already, the primary fire or the auto fire is this rapid fire rifle thing, and it actually does decent DPS and it sounds pretty cool too. So it's essentially kind of like a cool rifle. Now the secondary fire mode is kind of like an Opticore-esque type beam that you charge up and fire, and it does a buttload of damage with a bit of an explosion. The worst thing about the secondary fire though is that it drains 44 ammo per shot, making it so that you only have 2 shots in the mag before you have to reload, and the reload on this is pretty lengthy. Now as far as the build is concerned, I personally ended up going with a corrosive and heat hybrid that also runs Argent Scope to bump up the crit chance a little bit more, because with just point strike the crit is 35%, which is a bit low. Though you could of course go with a Hunter Munitions viral setup, which would have higher potential DPS and it would scale better in endgame, but it would be nowhere near as reliable as this. Because with this setup, if you run into something beefy, you can just switch into the secondary fire mode and blow them away. You don't have to rely on slash procs. Now, if this was a market weapon, I would probably recommend you give it a shot if you think it's cool, but since it's so difficult to get compared to other weapons, I'm not so sure. The DPS just isn't great. Even with the Hunter Munitions and viral setup, the DPS is not gonna be amazing, and the secondary fire is just weird. It takes way too much ammo, so you're gonna run dry in no time whatsoever, and it takes way too long to switch into it on the fly. So this is really not a weapon that I can recommend. It's just not great. There are far better weapons that you can get sooner, and they're far easier to get as well. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say, so I thank you very much for watching as always guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video and it was helpful, and I will see you some other time. Bye bye.